What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Head-to-Head Battles. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 5 best meta decks that you can play in the March 2021 format, or like moving onward from March, right? So, guys, before we dive into it, if you guys like content like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell, and also, if there's a deck that we missed in here or you think doesn't belong, let us know in the comment section down below.
No, because we love reading your opinions.
Yeah. We have 2 honorable mentions, but we'll get to that at the end of the video. And if you haven't purchased our new Sunrise X All Might Metal, Gold, and or Black Field Centers, all right, you can head over to headtoheadbattles.com. Right now, all the links are down in the description box down below. And get yours today before you cannot. You know how fast we sell out on these. All right, guys. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so the first deck on our list is actually going to be Dinos. Now, Dinos is a deck where the strategy doesn't change at all, right? Like Miscellaneous Source, UCT Effect, GG, Handshake. You reach out for the Handshake, right? Now, with blowout cards like Dark Ruler No More, which is going to be very prevalent in the format after the March ban list, this deck is going to be just widely represented again because VFD is not a thing anymore. Zexal is not a thing anymore, you know? So, basically, what's going to happen is Dinos didn't become better as a deck because they didn't get any new support, but just the fact that they can play now makes them a really good deck. So what does that mean? Dinos must be a good strategy, all right? Don't be mad in the comment section down below, bro, all right? It's a good deck. Now, Animador Archosaur is now a $90 card because people are starting to understand, hey, no more VFD, I can finally play again, right? And like I mentioned before, Dark Ruler No More is going to be taking the main deck spot over Forbidden Droplets because, I mean, let's be honest, Dinos brick a lot only when like you're playing it, but when your opponent is playing it, they open broken, right? And when you're dropletting somebody, you don't want to lose any cards from your hand. So Dark Ruler is definitely going to be up on top because Dinos don't really want to OTK. They just want to clear the board, right? They're not really an OTK strategy per se. They just want to clear your board, set up their own, maybe a Lagia, a Dolka, man, maybe even a Baguska, who knows? Who knows what people are going to be playing? But they will break your board, right? Like, and even against back row decks, Dinos have so much room to play back row removal, like evenly match and stuff. Like I said, even if you're playing a back row deck, Dinos can still run you over because evenly match, Harpies, Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, Twin Twister, Cosmic Cyclone, these are all cards that are going to be in a lot of people's side decks. So, make sure that you have an out to Dinos, which is Lancia. Just Lancia them in the draw phase. But don't get Gambit. Not that Dino players are running Gamma anyways, but Lancia is definitely a blowout card that you want to be playing against Dinos. And yeah, I don't know. That's how big of a threat Dinos are going to be. Like, people will be side decking 3 to 6 cards in their side deck and or even their main deck to out this deck, all right?
Alright guys, so the second deck on the list is, of course, Invoked Dogmatica. And I know I've been guilty of it, but it's not just a Mech of a Past type of deck, guys. There's definitely more to it than that. Nadirs are sitting at about $100 on TCG Player right now, which, just says so much about the deck that it has a lot of potential. So your ideal board going first is obviously your Mechaba, Ecclesia and Maximus on field, your Fleur in hand for the negate, and a set Schism for the Windowlock on the next turn. Now, speaking of Winda is definitely still a powerful and relevant card to now in the game because not a lot of decks can play through just one special summon unless they can't out her on their turn. And speaking of the Dogmatica engine, the engine mainly consists of only 1-card starters, which means you can fit a lot of different techs into the deck, such as Forbidden Droplets or TTTs, and a handful of hand traps like Ash, Ghost Spell, and Skullmeister. And then for the Invoked engine, yes, it is heavily reliant on your normal summon Alistair that grabs your invocation, which then you can go into all your invoke plays, but that just leaves your Ecclesia and Maximus as your extenders for the next part of your plays. Maximus is definitely a very powerful card because it assists you in breaking boards and giving you a lot of free extenders, such as Titaniclad, which you can special summon or add to hand. Apgalone, allowing you to grab your Schism from deck, or if you do decide to grab the Aerial, then discard her, you can get her effect, which banishes 3 from either side of the graveyard. And then you have your Entis and Skull Warrior for your 2 pops. And last but not least, Dogmatica Punishment. Now this card is definitely my last resort because it does lock you out of your extra deck until the end of your next turn. But depending on what you do decide to send to graveyard, it can also give you a free extender or just another pop. So guys, this deck definitely does have potential. Don't just sleep on it. And I know it is a pretty expensive deck to pick up, but try it on an online simulator and see how you like it.
All right, thank you, Jen. Now, the next deck on our list is any Elik variant. What do I mean by that? So Elik is an extremely splashable, an extremely recursive, and powerful engine, okay? It's about a 10 to 12 card engine, depending on your ratios. So generally speaking, it'd be 2 Golden Lords, 3 Conquistadors, 3 Sanguines, 2 Cacueros, and 3 Cursanellans. Okay, 13 cards. But whatever, right? Like 13 cards plus your main deck. So you can play Invoked Elik, you could play freaking Zombie Elik, which is really strong, by the way. What the Elik engine does for you is helps you to grind your opponent, right? So if your deck is really good, but if they crack your board, you have nothing else, right? Elik can fix that for you. Elik is like it's like an ointment that you put on a wound where you're bleeding, but then like it's like the ointment is so good, it immediately stops the bleeding. Like it's a miracle, okay? Now, Elik the Golden Lord, the whole engine is pretty pricey still, because even though the Golden Lords are only like $6-7, Cursed Eldens are more expensive than the first edition Secret from Secret Slayers. Like the super rare that you see more of in a box than you would, you know, the Golden Lord is more expensive than the Golden Lord. So you can imagine how flabbergasted I am. Like I'm like talking about it and I'm still kind of like, why do Yu-Gi-Oh players do this, right? Elik is a really good engine because in Conquistador, you have a non-targeting pop. Hakuero allows you to DD Crow, right? Which is really, really powerful. And with the addition of the new Elik Fusion card, Elik players, or rather any Elik variant, can run Super Poly because that new Golden Lord card is absolutely bananas, right? Like you can't target it. Like it reminds me of Dragoons. I mean, obviously it's not as good as Dragoons, but it definitely allows you to be able to use Super Poly, even the mirror match. I think Super Poly will most definitely be like a side deck option for Elik players because, I mean, Elik is definitely going to be widely represented post March 2021 ban list. And they've seen a lot of representation at the LCS, at the Extravaganza, and other like smaller tournaments, you know, going on now. But Elik is definitely one of those decks that you're going to have to be looking out for. And if you don't have the core, get it now. But it's expensive, okay? This is not a budget list. All right, so the fourth deck on my list, and I really didn't want to put this on the list, is Dragon Link. Now, Dragon Link is one of those decks where, hey, did you open 1 dragon? You have full combo. Did you open half a dragon? You still have full combo. Did you see the scales of a dragon somewhere? You probably still have full combo. Now, Dragon Link is extended dot deck, and this deck, because Konami has so much dragon support, it's really freaking good. With the addition of Chamber Dragon Maid and Tiding to the new strategy of Dragon Link, it's even better, right? Because now you can normal summon the Chamber, which will grab you Hospitality and or Tiding, right? Because Tiding is basically an interruption. It's a return your dragon monster and bounce a card on the field, right? Non-targeting, by the way. And on top of that, they have seals, and on top of that, they have 2 negates. And that's all off of 1 freaking card. Now, Tiding is a really good card because you can banish Tiding to special summon your chamber to add you another Tiding, or Hospitality, which is basically a follow-up in your next turn. And on top of that, right, Dragons, period, didn't get touched on the ban list. So they're full powered now. And without VFD and Zexal, Dragon Link players they're rejoicing. They're loving life right now. But you know what card outs Dragon Links? And hear me out, Dimension Shifter. You've resolved Dimension Shift on a Dragon Link player 1 time, they're not playing, okay? They are not playing. So make sure you guys have Dimension Shifter in your side deck or main deck. Main deck if you can play it. I'm giving you the outs early in the video, so I don't have to do it later. Now, a Dragon Link player generally off of 1 card or 1.5 cards or whatever, their end board is this. They'll basically have a Borlo Savage Dragon, Hieratic Seals, a Set Tiding, and some other form of negate. Now, this is really insane because Tiding bounces, and then next turn they can banish it to get a starter. Hieratic Seals will tribute itself, and then once tributed, will summon you a chamber, which will grab you a Hospitality to get you even another starter, okay? Now you have the Borlo Savage Negate. Like, it's a lot to play through, and there's not a lot of decks that can play through more than like 1 or 2 interruptions anyways, which makes Dragon Links really powerful. And on top of that, they have so much setup for the next turn. It's hard to not say it's a meta deck because, man, if it's in format, it's probably one of the top 3 decks. All right, so the last deck on my list is actually Bird Up. Now, the Bird Up strategy is really good. They end on Samorg, the Wind Barrier statue, and maybe something else. But generally speaking, Floodgates are hard to out, and the Samorg basically protects the Wind statue anyways. You can't even Kaiju them, and you generally have to beat over it with a normal summon. But even then, they always have a way to out your normal summon anyways, which makes the deck really hard. And if you don't out the Wind statue in your end phase, they'll summon Avian, which just gives them an Omni Negate for next turn. And on top of that, all the Tri-Brigade monsters that they use in the Bird Up strategy can just banish to summon the Shirei, which will banish a card when it's summoned, or any beast, wing beast, whatever is summoned too, which makes the deck really, really powerful. And it's consistent. And I say this often, a meta deck not only has a winning strategy, but it's a consistent winning strategy. And obviously it has to be a good winning strategy, but you get what I mean. The deck is oddly cheap, so you can definitely see a lot of people on this strategy, and there's a lot of lines of play that you can go, even if you are interrupted. And again, just like Dragon Link, this is a 1/1.5 card starting deck, meaning you only need 1.5 cards to start the combo. And it plays through a lot of interruptions. So this is the deck that you really want to be looking out for. And, you know, make sure you have an out to the Wind Barrier statue somehow, some way. You could even play Godarla, but Godarlas are like $3, $4, $5, $10. They're $10. Godarlas are sitting at $10. Oh my, what a world we live in today. Now, I want to get into the honorable mentions, okay? There's two very honorable mentions. Subterra Guru, or any form of Guru, is really freaking good because, again, Subterra Guru can play Tikaboo, and now they're playing Dragoons, and you could even play the Buster Blader package to floodgate them even more. Imagine being under a floodgate, protected by a floodgate, protected by Dragoons. Yeah, it's actually really crazy if you think about it. Guys, listen, don't be mad about Subterra Guru being played. It's a really good deck. If you're salty about it, you're probably losing to it. Comment down in the comment section down below if this deck has hurt you. And my final honorable mention is Trapsh Dolls, okay? The deck is insane. Just the fact that you can main deck Torrential Tribute and go plus off of that Torrential Tribute is absolutely insane, okay? Paleozoic Dinomyscus is an absolute blowout of a card. They're playing Needle Sealing, which is a card from like before some of you guys watching this video were born. And just the fact that they can play all these blowout cards and plus off of them, absolutely insane. And if you even add the Invoked package or the Dogmatica package, the deck becomes even better. You could even just run Nadir Servant and an Ecclesia and go plus, because your extra deck just, every card in your extra deck is old, and it doesn't have like once per turn clauses, and yeah, it's a bananas deck. All right, guys. So make sure you guys are picking up these cores ASAP because they're actually getting more support in Ghosts from the Past. All right, so make sure you guys are picking these sets up, and if you did, and this video helped you out, help me out by liking this video. All right, guys. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. All right, so if you guys like content like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell to join the squad. Also, I know I reminded you in the beginning of the video, but make sure you're getting your field centers. All right, get your field centers before you cannot. The YouTube crowd always gets these things dang last because Twitch and Discord always get it first. Oh, and Instagram. Oh, so, yes. Yeah, so make sure you guys are following us there. You know, all the links are in the description box down below.
Just expand that up.
All right. So, also, we have a very special playmat that goes along with this field center. Oh. We might even do it in a bundle. We don't know yet. But yo, we're working out the kinks, all right?
Oh,
We freaking love you guys.
okay.
Yeah, because like all of our merch, we want the merch to be dope, so that when you guys spend your money, you guys spend it proudly, all right? So I freaking love you guys so much. All right, we'll catch you in the next one. This is Susu from HeadtoHead Battles. Signing out.